You never really know how far some people will go for a little power, especially when they're hiding behind a homeowners association badge. This story isn't about loud music or messy lawns. It's about what happens when an HOA Karen crosses the line, interfering with someone's medical care, and learning a lesson the hard way. After a long hospital stay due to back surgery, I was finally home. Walking was difficult, sitting hurt, and every step felt like fire down my spine. My doctor arranged for a visiting nurse named Emily, calm, kind, and professional, to help with my physical therapy and wound care for the next few weeks. Emily came every morning at 9 a.m., parking her little silver car by the curb near my home. Simple, right? Not for Karen. Karen, the self-proclaimed HOA president, lived across the street. And if you believe her, she was the guardian of all things proper in our neighborhood. From trash can placement to lawn color, she had an opinion on everything. The first time Emily arrived, she barely got out of the car before Karen appeared, clipboard in hand. "Excuse me," Karen barked. "This area is for residents only. No parking for outsiders." Emily smiled politely. "I'm a nurse visiting Mr. Thompson for medical care." But Karen wasn't having it. "You can't just say you're a nurse. I'll need to see proof." Emily, staying calm, showed her badge and ID. Still, Karen huffed and walked off, muttering something about violations. When Emily came inside, she looked embarrassed. "Does she always do that?" I sighed. "You've just met Karen. She runs the HOA like it's her personal kingdom." Over the next week, Karen made it her mission to monitor Emily's every visit. She'd stand by her window recording on her phone. She'd complain about where Emily parked, how long she stayed, and even accused her of disturbing the peace. One morning, Karen left a bright orange warning notice on Emily's windshield, citing unauthorized parking under HOA Code Section 4.7. It was completely fake. But the intimidation was real. When Emily told me about it, I was furious. I tried to talk to Karen, but she waved me off. "This is a private community," she said smugly. "If your nurse wants to visit, she can park outside the gate and walk in." I stared at her, stunned. "I can barely walk myself. She's providing medical care." Karen crossed her arms. "Not my problem. Rules are rules." The next day, Emily arrived with medical supplies. But as she stepped out of the car, Karen blocked her path. "I told you not to park here," she yelled, phone camera in Emily's face. "Ma'am, please move. I'm here for my patient." Karen kept shouting, "You're trespassing. I'm calling security and the police." Emily, visibly shaken, tried to call me. By the time I reached the door, Karen was already on the phone, ranting about a stranger breaking HOA rules. I stepped outside, still in my brace, and shouted, "Karen, she's my nurse." Karen sneered. "Then she can prove it to the police." I don't believe a word of it. Minutes later, 2 patrol cars pulled up. The officers walked over calmly, asking what was going on. Karen started her dramatic speech. "Officer, this woman refuses to leave private property. She's harassing me." Emily, trembling, handed over her nurse ID, license, and medical documents proving her assignment. The officer glanced at Karen. "Ma'am, she's a registered nurse here for authorized medical treatment." Karen scoffed. "That doesn't matter. She can't park here. HOA rules say." The officer cut her off. "Actually, it does matter. Interfering with or obstructing medical care is a criminal offense." Karen blinked. "Excuse me?" "I was just enforcing neighborhood rules." The officer's tone turned serious. "No, ma'am. You were obstructing medical care and harassing a healthcare worker. That's not enforcing rules. That's breaking the law." Karen tried to backtrack, saying she didn't mean any harm, but Emily had the entire encounter recorded on her phone. The officers reviewed it, and that was the final nail in the coffin. When the officer read her rights, Karen's face drained of color. "You're under arrest for harassment and obstruction of medical assistance." Her eyes widened. "What? You can't arrest me. I'm the HOA president." The officer replied, "Ma'am, you're not above the law." As she was handcuffed, Karen kept yelling, "This is a misunderstanding. I was just protecting the neighborhood." But no one was listening anymore. For once, the street was quiet, except for the sound of justice being served. After that day, things changed. The HOA board called an emergency meeting and quietly removed Karen from her president position. Emily continued her visits peacefully, and we both laughed about how the same woman who screamed about rules ended up breaking the most serious one of all, respect for others. A few neighbors even came by to apologize on behalf of the HOA. Turns out, Karen had a long history of making everyone's life miserable. Sometimes, the loudest person in the room isn't the one with power, it's the one with the biggest ego. Karen learned that the hard way. In the end, I recovered. Emily became a close friend. And as for Karen, the only thing she's in charge of now is community service. You can enforce all the rules you want, but when you mess with someone's health, karma doesn't knock. It kicks the door down.